These are my 5 cons and 5 pros about owning a boat in Florida. And remember, BOAT stands for Break Out Another 1,000. Pro number 1. You can use it whenever you like, as opposed to having a boat membership where you can only go when they say you can. Look at these guys. You can take your boat out whenever you like and have a good time and not have to wait for a schedule. If you decide to have a spontaneous boat outing, you can do that. With a boat membership, you can't. Or if you're using a friend's boat, you can't do that either because you have to rely on their schedule. Pro number 2. Depending on where you live and how big your boat is, you can keep your boat in your yard without storage fees. But if you have a larger boat, such as this one, storage might be a little pricey. Even if your boat is trailerable, you will have to figure out if your HOA permits storage and if code enforcement will allow you. But in general, you could typically keep your boat in your yard and keep your eye on it for free. Pro number 3. Another thing that we have a lot of in Florida are actually dolphins. We've got plenty of dolphins that you can go see in the intercoastal, as well as manatees, sometimes even sharks if you're really interested in that. But it's a great way for kids to learn about marine biology and just different things to do with Florida's waterways and the coastlines, and it's just an all-around great learning experience. Pro number 4. Owning a boat is also a great do-it-yourself learning experience. Many of the work that we have done on our boats has been DIY because it's just very expensive to hire a mechanic or hire someone to do fiberglass work when you can just do it yourself. As you can see behind me, lots of people are doing work on their own boats, and they could be hiring someone to help them or they could be working on it by themselves, but the dry dock area is mostly a place to do fiberglass work or just general overhauls of your engines or just the boat in general. Pro number 5. Another reason why you might want to consider buying a boat is because it can be used as a condo on the water, and it's also much cheaper than an actual condo because you don't have to pay marina fees if you're storing it out in the water. Something you may not have considered when looking at boats is that if you buy a large enough one, you can use it as a water condo. And what I mean is that you can put it on the water and use it on the weekends, or just not even take it anywhere. Just enjoy the view, leave it in the marina, or take a smaller boat out to it if you have it parked in a intercoastal waterway, and you could just enjoy it that way. It's a lot cheaper and possibly even easier than owning a condo. You don't have to deal with any neighbors unless you're dealing with people in the marina, and then they're usually pretty nice. All you really have to make sure of, though, is that you have a boat with a cabin and a shower and bathroom and some beds so that you can really enjoy your stay. Con number 1. Now, there are downsides to owning a boat, such as the cost, and costs can include maintenance, dock fees, gas, food and drink for when you have friends on the boat. You need things like life jackets, flare kits. You'll have to get your license. That'll cost money, as well as the difference in different storage options. You can have a covered marina or you can have an uncovered slip. These costs go up with the size of the boat as well. Most marinas charge by the foot, and if your boat is too big to store in your yard, you will have no other choice besides storing it in a marina, in a slip, where you have to pay monthly. You may not have the time to use a boat. It's not like a car where you can just hop in it and go. There are certain things that you need to prepare. Food, drinks, you have to bring towels, maybe your bathing suit if you want to go swimming, and you have to plan out where you're going to go, how much gas you need. It's a lot of planning and a lot of time consumption. You've also got to clean the boat, you've got to maintain it, you've got to take it to the dealership if something breaks down, or contact your mechanic, find a good mechanic in the area. There's a lot of things that go into it. And of course the payoff is immense. You get a nice boat to use, you get to impress your friends, and all around, for the most part, a good time. But there's a lot of time that goes into having that good time. Another issue is that boats can be dangerous. If you've got small children around and they're not very aware of where they are, they might fall overboard or something bad could end up happening. Now, of course, that's why you wear life jackets and take proper precautions and keep eyes on your children and whatnot. Pets, this could also be an issue for. But you've got to remember that you've got a spinning blender at the end of your boat going 3,800 RPM, maybe even more depending on how fast you want to be going. But it's definitely something to take into consideration. Now, overall, the experience is probably pretty easygoing and you most likely won't run into any problems. But if something happens and you get stranded, that's where things can get dangerous. Now, there are lots of friendly people in the boating community, and you probably won't have to worry about getting towed, and there are insurance companies such as Towboat USA that will come out and tow you most of the year during most parts of the day, so a lot of that danger is really minimalized, but you do have to remember that boats can be dangerous. Another issue is stressful weather. When it gets rainy and you're expecting a fully sunny day out, it can really be a bummer, but it can also be stressful because you're piloting under poor weather conditions, visibility is low. I remember a couple years ago when we went to St. Augustine, we docked our boat there, but the weather was just horrendous. It was cold and miserable, and the waves were bouncing this 40-foot yacht up and down like it was a little bathtub toy. It was ridiculous, but we had a good trip. We all got really sick because of the awful bouncing and the seasickness, which is also another problem when it comes to boating, is dealing with seasickness. And even when you're docked and you've got a hurricane coming through, which is a very normal occurrence in Florida, you have to worry about that. My dad restored a boat from New Jersey that was dragged along the streets during Hurricane Sandy, and it was just an absolute mess. The guy who sold it to us, you know, I'm sure he wasn't too happy about it, but we got a cheap boat out of it and enjoyed that for a long time. But that's the same boat that was being tossed up and down in waves in St. Augustine. And one time we took our jet boat to the Keys, and we were out in the middle of a gulf of some sort. I don't remember exactly where, but we were driving around, and all of a sudden this cold, hard rain came down out of nowhere. We had checked the weather, it looked clear, but out of nowhere it came in, and we lost a hatch, and it was just all around a miserable day. But and when we sped up, the water would hit and it would hurt really bad because that boat didn't have a canopy or anything. So that was also a weather-induced stressful environment. But good weather leads to good times, and so in that sense it almost pays off. This next issue pertains to using your boat. It might be difficult to learn how to get started, but once you get the hang of it, things will go smooth. But when you're pulling into a marina and currents are going all which way and you've just got things going not the way you want them to be, it does get stressful, and it's a difficult thing to learn. And if you're born after a certain time, you have to get your license to learn how to pilot a boat legally, and there are just certain things that go into it. But unloading and loading your boat onto the trailer, towing it home, if you do that, can be stressful as well. But this is only really at first. Once you get the hang of things, they really go smoothly, and it does become quite an enjoyable time. But getting over those first few hurdles is what really matters. Our first boat, which was a 1970s Formula Thunderbird, we were forced to get a slip because my mom was too scared of untrailering and trailering the boat because of the loud noises and the stressful environment that it created. So we ended up getting a marina slip, and it was pretty easy from there. But of course we could have kept that boat in our yard, but we chose not to. And it definitely made the experience a lot smoother. But like I said, you can trailer and untrailer your boat at your own desire. Owning a boat is a gateway hobby which can lead into different hobbies like buying jet skis, or maybe even you feel like you enjoy the outdoors so much that you buy a four-wheeler or an off-roading car. But these things can lead to reducing stress and enjoying the outdoors more, so why not go for it? I hope I haven't scared you into buying a boat, but I also kind of do.